MMTLP investor and Twitter user Stox is up to something major in the fight against FINRA. So what do you need to know? Sit tight as we go through recent news as well as my MMAT chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for regular stock market updates. Stox, also known as the Queen of the Metaverse, is one of the pillars of the MMTLP community, and her contribution to the fight for justice against FINRA's market corruption is tremendous. She tweeted that she has filled out a complaint at the FBI office regarding the fraud, and we'll link that tweet in the pinned comment. In our opinion, the FBI will have to take this seriously because of the number of complaints that people are filing, as well as the protest planned for 3rd January at the SEC HQ in Washington. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for MMAT, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get the 5-minute chart. But as always, before we do that, we'll talk about MMTLP and latest updates that we have about it. Now, first up, a follow-up to the Stox FBI situation. She actually tweeted that the FBI has a market manipulation division and they want to hear from you, as in, of course, other MMTLP investors. And she has shared a video link, right, where she discusses this entire case. And she has also said that the FBI is on the case, which, well, it's a good sign. It basically means that FBI did take up the case and they will be investigating it, right? So I, of course, will link down to the video in my pinned comment. Second up, right, Jeffrey Christensen has tweeted that his contacts, he has a contact in the Senate Banking and Finance Committee, right, the SBFC, and he said that they've reached back out to him and they've replied to him, and they are, they said that they're reviewing data about this situation to see if any further developments have occurred since last week. Now, this is exactly what they had to say, but I'll still, get a link to that tweet in my pinned comment as well, so you can follow up with that. Now, third thing, a Twitter account by the name of MMTLP, M Matters, that's a good playoff, right? That's a good spin-off. He has apparently tweeted out a screenshot which shows an email he received from TD Ameritrade, which says that his NextBridge dividend shares, right, the placeholder shares that he received, are apparently lent out, right? So his question was really genuine, that how are they lending out placeholders of an already placeholder share, which was of course MMTLP, right? It was never supposed to be a tradable share, right? We've already discussed that in our previous video. Now, at the same time, getting off topic for a second, someone commented on my last video about how I say right a lot. So I'm sorry for that if that bothers you, right? I can't really, well, I said it again. I'm sorry for that. But coming back to the video, he does have a point that how can they lend out as placeholders? But at the same time, it works in our favor, right? It's just more proof for the fact that the market is being manipulated. Now coming to the fact, or rather coming to the entire Rosa Towel case situation, she tweeted that she has contacted the judge's chamber as well as the judges, of course, to kind of plan out either a hearing or to rule out in her favor for the TRO, right? The restraint order that she placed, or rather, she did not place it, she requested for it, right? She filed for it. And because, of course, it is an emergency, it is. And she also said that she has not received any response yet. But again, I'll link to that in the pinned comment so you can check that out. And of course, follow up with it on your own. Now, again, my opinions on the FBI situation. Well, I already told you guys in like 2 or 3 days ago, I believe, that as long as this does not become a political matter, right, as long as it does not become a matter of financial rights and civil rights, basically, right, it won't get solved in my opinion, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen in my opinion, that now things are finally being taken up with higher authorities. And once this becomes a bigger issue, I believe that for certain, for sure, higher authorities will have to take this seriously, and hopefully we'll find a solution. Now, I did put up a community post yesterday, which I have now deleted, right? But I was basically asking you guys, how long do you think it will take for MMTLP holders to get justice? And there is a lot of people who voted for 1 week and 6 months, right? I did put up an option of 1 month as well, but like 8% or something voted for that, which of course is well, it's confusing, right? Half of you all are really optimistic, half of you are like you've lost hopes from this market. And of course, after such a scenario, after such a situation, anyone would lose hope, right? After what we saw happen with MMTLP, right? The entire market corruption, the entire market fraud situation, right? How the trades were manipulated, how the trading was halted. It was really a way to leave investors without anything to do, without anything in their hands, without any power, and of course, hopeless as well. So now what's going to happen in the future? Well, first up, of course, we'll have to wait for Syntax's update, right? So whatever happens with the FBI investigation, that's really important to the case. Second up, we'll have to wait for Rosa Tawil's update. So of course, you can go out and check the link in my pinned comment. And if there's any update by the time that this video is published, well, that's good news. I'll probably talk about that in a reply of the pinned comment. But if there's not, you can just follow that tweet up. You can follow her account and see what's going on, right? You'll get the updates over there. And of course, if we talk about MMAT, right, if we get back into the analysis, we can see that we've been falling in price. We're down to 1.23% at 5.38% of the negatives, right? No pre-market trades right now because of course OTC is delayed. And now, wait, it's not OTC, it's NASDAQ. I'm sorry for that. Major goof up. Um, Now, a lot of people have been debating and saying that the stock is going below $1, which is possible, right? We won't rule out the possibility of that happening. But if we look at the support, 1.24 is a support, but now that has turned into a resistance. If we get a gap down below this, sure, we might get resisted, fall below 1.2, and 1.2 will be another resistance, 1.8 will be another resistance, right somewhere around here, 1.8, 1.15 will be another resistance. And if we continue to fall, of course, one day we will have to go below $1 as well. But is it something to be worried about? In my opinion, it is not. Right? Why is that so? Well, we all have to understand the fact that for any stock which is, I won't say that it has a low market cap because, well, it's $445 million, but still, any stock in general, even blue chips, even bigger stocks like, even let's say Meta, right? We've seen what happened to Meta. Any stock can go down and go up, right? And I'm pretty sure that all of you already know this, but considering the fact that MMAT and MMTLP in general, the situation that is going out, right? How people are losing hope. I do believe that all of that fear is transferring towards MMAT, and at the same time, as I already gave you a 50-50 figure kind of, right? Half of the people are scared that and they're not touching MMAT because they're like, hey, you know what happened to MMTLP, and I don't want to take any further risks, right? The other 50% are like, hey, what happened to MTLP was bad, but at the same time, MMAT is still a good opportunity to make money. And that's the type of mentalities that we have on both sides of the coin. So, in my opinion, of course, I am kind of bullish, right? But at the same time, the MMTLP situation will kind of impact the stock a lot because of course if the holders if the MMTLP holders get justice, if they get their due money, they will put a chunk of that in MMAT, and at least that's what I'm hoping, right? A lot of them have said that they will put it in MMAT, and we can definitely observe a 5 or 10x return once that happens, right? At least going from here to $5, I guess, or $10, we can see that happening. And of course, with that, I have already given you guys a price target of $10 for a 1 year price, time period. And I'll reiterate on that. If that changes in the future, of course, if you want to know that, you'll have to subscribe to the channel and follow up with my videos. And with that, we'll jump on into the 1 hour chart so we can see what's going on in a bit more detail. And now that we're in the 1 hour chart, we can see that again, the bear trend continues, right? We can see a double top that we made over here at 1.27. We can see a bottom that we made over here around 1.23, right? Of course, the Wix will say otherwise, right? According to the Wix, we do have another top at 1.26 pretty much. So these are important levels, but not that important because they're not technical support or resistance levels. We've just observed them for a single day. We did observe this one over here at 1.23 like a few weeks ago, I guess. Yeah, about 1 week ago. We've observed that level, but overall, if you look at the trend, it is negative. We can look at the trend, it's negative. But again, as I already told you, is it a bad thing? Is it something that you should be worried about? I personally am not worried about it because I know that even Meta can fall down, Apple can fall down. If the company is good, if you believe in the company, it most likely will bounce back. And at the same time, if we want to see what's going on in a bit more detail, we'll have to jump on into the 5-minute chart. So let's do that. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart, I'll tell you guys my first concern, and that, of course, is dry volumes, right? We can see that ever since the stock started falling, we've witnessed lower and lower volumes, right? We can see that the volumes are just getting drier and drier over this period ever since 16th December going into 19th and 20th December. Volumes are drier, right? And that's, of course, not a good sign. But at the same time, if we look at some important levels that might be over here, we do have 1.23. That's like obvious. We already discussed that. 1.25 psychological level, 1.27. And this high that we made at 1.29 should matter as well because it did serve as a support over here and a resistance over here. So what is going to happen today when the market opens? Well, I personally believe that, let me get the brush tool, let me move it over here. I believe that we'll probably get a gap down considering this movement that we made over here, right? So if we consider this trend, we might get a gap down, and if we get a gap down around 1.22, we might start off and go up and get a green day today because we've had red days for the past 2 or 3 days. So in my opinion, as long as we don't fall below 1.2 on the gap down, we probably will recover. But if we get a gap up, then we'll likely go down. So in my opinion, a gap down will be necessary today if we want to go up. But then again, pre-market is not getting any volumes. So we'll have to look and, we'll have to observe where that heads. But at the same time, I stand by my statement that, not exactly a statement, it's just my own opinion, nothing that serious, that if the stock opens around 1.22, I can see it going around 1.26, 1.27 by the end of this day. So it will be good for like intraday traders, but not exactly any value for long-term holders because of course, if we already get a gap down, we'll be down by 1.5%. So the gain will only be like 2.4%, but still you're still down like 5.38%. So that does not make it a gain as such. But anyways, if you're a long-term holder, what I'll recommend is that you should probably factor in things that will matter in 1 year or 2 years and not exactly things that will matter today. So this chart is pretty much for intraday traders and those who want to scalp. If you want to scalp, you can head into the 3-minute chart as well. But of course, I won't be analyzing that. And at the same time, remember that I could be wrong. So this most definitely was not financial advice. You should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit that like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.